Okay, so we're still here in the market for pizza, and this time we're looking at the supply curve, supply curve shifting to the left. There's any number of reasons why the supply curve might shift left. In this case, let's just say the cost of cheese increased, and because cheese is a factor of production, and that is when the price of factors of production increase, that means that for every quantity of pizza made, whereas before the supplier might be willing to accept this price here for this quantity of pizza, now because each pizza costs a little more, they're going to say, I want this amount of this price for this quantity. In other words, they're only going to make this if they can get a higher price for it, because now it costs more to make, so they want to have a higher price to cover their costs and still make a profit. In any case, this is the supply curve shift to the left. Think about all your different non-price determinants of supply, and any one of them that causes the supply curve to shift to the left is going to have this impact on the market. So where are we to start with? Well, we start with an equilibrium here. In other words, at the original supply curve and demand curve, demanders and suppliers come to a market clearing quantity of Q sub E and a market clearing price of P sub E. That's what the equilibrium is, right? Everybody who wants a slice gets one, and every slice that gets made gets sold, so everybody's happy. When the supply curve shifts, we actually see that at the original price, we now have a situation where suppliers only want to supply Q sub 1. So again, at the original price of P sub E, they only want to supply Q sub 1. This creates what we call a, I'm going to use black ink. This is what we call a shortage. In other words, there is this much pizza being supplied, but this much pizza is desired. In other words, there are people showing up to Old School who want to order and eat this much pizza, but Old School is only willing to supply this much. So customers are going away empty-handed. Now, Smart Supplier is going to see that they can raise the price, and go. Actually, I probably should have drawn the arrows from this side. Let me do that. They could raise the price and increase their output a little bit until they get to a new price and quantity. We'll call it P sub E sub 1 and Q sub E sub 1. So when the supply curve shifted at the original price, suppliers reduced their output to Q sub 1. But then they had a signal, let's write that. There was a signal to them as a result of the shortage, this shortage here, or if you want to look at it here, Q1 to QE. These slices of pizza could have been made and sold, but weren't. So that encouraged or gave them incentive to increase output and price gradually until they end up here at a new equilibrium. So again, the supply curve shifts to the left, a shortage occurs at the original price. That signals to suppliers, hey, look, you don't have to sell just Q sub 1. Why don't you actually raise the price and make a little more slices, and you actually can get to a new equilibrium right here of P sub E sub 1 and Q sub E sub 1.